According to a source from the Russian Security Service, an American M113 armored personnel carrier was destroyed along with the Ukrainian troops. As a result of the explosion of these mines, unmanned aerial vehicles of the 6th Motorized Rifle Division of the Southern Group of Forces dropped mines in the enemy's rear in the Chasov Yar area. This was an important part of the route through which they supplied their group. As a result, the M113 was destroyed along with the landing force, the security service said. According to the same source, on the same road, an infantry fighting vehicle was destroyed by an FPV drone attack. According to the security forces, about 15 soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces were killed as a result of the destruction of 2 pieces of equipment. In the border area of the Kursk region, the Russian Defense Ministry reported that on April 13th, the crew of the Inokodets unmanned aerial vehicle UAV of the Sever military group destroyed an armored personnel carrier and servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine AFU in this area. Also in the border area of the Kursk region, on April 13th, FPV drone crews from the Rubicon Center attacked the personnel and military equipment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. In the border area of the Kursk region, the Russian Ministry of Defense reported on this incident and released relevant footage. The Ministry of Defense released footage of FPV drone crews from the Rubicon Advanced Unmanned Aircraft Technology Testing Center of the Russian Ministry of Defense destroying personnel and military equipment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the border area of the Kursk region. Vostok fighters tracked a pickup truck and destroyed a temporary deployment point of the Ukrainian armed forces. Fighters of the Vostok group of forces destroyed a temporary deployment point of the Ukrainian armed forces in the southern Donetsk direction, the Russian Defense Ministry reported. The operators of the Vostok group of drones, having discovered a pickup truck of the Ukrainian armed forces, decided to track its route. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, in the Zaporizhzhia region, the Russian armed forces used UAVs to detect Ukrainian soldiers digging communication lines inside the house during the defense of Pyatakotki. Then the Russian armed forces used UAVs combined with explosives to destroy the communication lines inside the house. In the video, we can clearly see that after destroying the communication lines inside the house, the Russian armed forces planted the Russian flag at this point. Operators of strike drones of the Center Forces Group destroyed hundreds of combat armored vehicles of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the Defense Ministry reported. Servicemen of the kamikaze strike drone crews of the Special Forces Unit of the Center Forces Group destroyed hundreds of armored vehicles of the Ukrainian Armed Forces during combat operations, including several German Leopard tanks, the ministry said in a statement. It was specified that the Russian drones also hit infantry fighting vehicles, YPR-765 armored personnel carriers, VAB armored personnel carriers, and M113 armored personnel carriers, as well as armored repair and recovery vehicles of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Purge night in the Kharkov direction. FPV crew of the antagonist group once again struck. FPV crew of the antagonist group once again struck the Ukrainian Armed Forces personnel. During rotation, evacuation, the operator caught a group of Ukrainian Armed Forces soldiers at the armored fighting vehicle and flew into the open door with a night FPV drone VT-40. The second strike secured the result. In the footage of the drone flying up to the abandoned equipment, you can see the work of artillery. At dawn, the FPV drones of KVN finished off an American Humvee and hit an evacuation loaf of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. On the Russian side, the first losses were recorded on the Kursk front, where a North Korean M1989 Koksin 170mm self-propelled howitzer, carried by the Russian army, was destroyed during transportation by an FPV drone of the Ukrainian army. In the direction of Kharkov, the antagonist drones chased and destroyed a pickup truck of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. As you can see in the video, although the pickup truck of the Ukrainian Armed Forces tried to escape at a very high speed, it could not escape the pursuit of the antagonist drones and was eventually destroyed.